do this, but it's important. There was a conversation last night that got started concerning different ways of approaching a walk with Christ. And this is something I have a problem with. I always try to judge somebody else by the way they're trying to find Christ, and that's not my business. You know, I wish I could pull up the chapter and verse, but you know, if they're not against me. But this is Romans chapter 14. Him that is weak in the faith receive ye, but not to doubtful disputations. It means don't argue with him over the thing. Don't let him poison your doctrine, blah, blah, blah. That's what it means. For one believeth that he may eat all things, another who is weak eateth herbs. Let not him that eateth despise him that eateth not. And let not him which eateth not judge him that eateth, for God hath received him. Who art thou that judgest another man's servant? Who are you to judge Jesus' servant? Anyway. To his own master he standeth or falleth. Yea, ye shall be holden up, for God is able to make him stand. One man esteemeth one day above another, another esteemeth every day alike. Let every man be fully persuaded in his own mind. He that regardeth the day regardeth it unto the Lord, and he that regardeth not the day to the Lord, he doth not regard it. He that eateth, eateth to the Lord, for he giveth God thanks, and he that eateth not to the Lord, he eateth not, and giveth God thanks. For none of us liveth to himself, and no man dieth to himself. For whether we live unto the Lord, and whether we die unto the Lord. Whether we live therefore or die, we are the Lord's. For to this end Christ both died and rose and revived, that he might be Lord both of the dead and the living. But why dost thou judge thy brother, or why dost thou set at naught thy brother? For we shall all stand before the judgment seat of Christ. Yeah, carry my Bible with me. One of them. I got like a bunch. I don't want to be caught without my Bible. I've been in that situation before. That's like, you know, you talk about preps. I personally own 20 Bibles. Kind of strategically placed, got them in catches around my world. I need to get one for my wife's new car. I don't have one yet. I guess I'll get the one that was in the truck put in there. But hey, I mean, the Hebrew roots movement or whatever, some of it I just don't know. Some of the guys are way out there. I was actually very interested in it because there's something I believe some Chinese guy wrote a book about the art of war, and I never read the whole thing because, well, can't read Chinese. But I don't know. Everybody knows quotes out of it, and one of them is, you know your enemy. I can't defend against the attacks of Islam in my life unless I understand Islam. You know, so can't understand how to approach Hindu unless I know Hindu. Buddhism, all the way on up. I read the Mormon Bible. It's really a good book, man. But I've read all the Apocryphal books. Not all of them. All of them I can remember. Because it's all out there. I don't didn't like get into them and study them because I don't want to poison my mind. But it still boils down to you got to know what's going on. But some of the Hebrew movement guys, or what are Hebrew roots, they're preaching stuff that doesn't matter. They're actually getting in doctrinal debates with Christians over doctrine that does not affect salvation to the left or to the right, to the up or to the down. And quite honestly, a lot of the Christians that are debating back the other direction are doing the same thing. You're getting into doctrinal debates with another group of people that are diligently searching for Christ about things that doesn't matter or don't matter. There's only one God. There's only one way to God. Without knowing the full mind and full heart and full spirit of God, like Jesus did, we have no way of knowing the one way to walk. We have to hunt for the straight and the narrow. Okay? We can't, like, say, ours is the only way, blah, blah, blah. I mean, now, Islam is not going to get to heaven. There's no way. Is Hinduism going to get you? No. Buddhism? No. Any of the hundreds of religions out there. The Church of Marijuana is not going to get to the heaven. It gets high, but it will get to the heaven. What you believe, you stand fast in for you. Do not judge a fellow seeker, another human being that is trying to find a way that he can worship God to his fullest or her fullest, because it's a way different than you would do it. Now, there are parts of it that jump way outside of acceptable ways to worship God. Acceptable ways to approach the kingdom of heaven. But in this, over the past 4 or 5 years, maybe longer, 7 or 8 probably, I have come to the conclusion that quite a bit of the things we do in the Christian faith are not only outside of the will of God, but blasphemous and forbidden by Jesus Christ himself. I mean, the biggest holiday we have, the biggest Christian holiday we have is celebrated on the biggest pagan holiday there is. The same way the pagans celebrated their, not the way the early church would have celebrated this particular time of the year, but the way the pagans celebrated this particular time of the year. So, I mean, it could go either way. Uh, and I actually checked the King James Version with the Authorized King James Version. I checked the Authorized King James Version with the Young's Literal Translation. And I actually checked all of those with Hebrew Translator of the original text, because I want to know what's being said. And I could get on here and I could start telling you what I think doctrine is. But what God's telling me is true in my life does not necessarily mean that it's going to be what's true in your life. I work with hand tools and stuff. I'm a manual labor. The kind of, other than basic, the kind of things I deal with in my day-to-day life are going to be different than an investment banker. So, it's going to talk to me different than an investment banker. Because an investment banker has got a whole lot more things to worry about. My life's pretty simple, comparatively speaking. Jesus even warned about that. I mean, was it easier for a camel to go through the eye of the needle or of a needle, than for a rich man to enter into heaven? The more you got, the harder it is. It's that simple. So, that was the ride to work this morning. I bet y'all be glad when I put my hair back in the ponytail, won't you? So, yeah. Y'all have a good day. Don't worry about what your brother's doing wrong unless it's hurting somebody. Worry about what you're getting right and what you're getting wrong. Your walk with God is your walk with God. Your brother's walk with God is not yours. Have a blessed day.